Hey there everyone, and welcome to another Project Oglowia development tutorial video. And wow, I said that very fluently for someone who doesn't use scripts. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to be returning to the terminal yet again to show you guys how to use the new manual page system and command line arguments and stuff like that in Unreal Engine. Because there are a lot of features that I have implemented since last night, and I figured it would be time to update you guys. Now, first of all, let's show you guys how this works. I'm going to show you guys how to implement your own commands that use this system. But let's type in help. If I can actually, click inside the dialog, or inside the Peacenet window. Alright, there we go. Help. And you'll see that we get a list of our commands. We have our help command, our clear command, and our bash command, and clear being what we implemented last night. And if we clear, of course, it works. Everything's working fine, but you'll notice that if I say clear test, it will not clear the screen. This time, it will actually complain at you that you have entered an unexpected argument test, and it will tell you the usage of the command. Now there's a bit of a bug. It's not supposed to display the full manual page, it's only supposed to display the command usage. So in this case, it should tell you that the usage of the clear command is clear, but that's something I have to fix, and I will get into that soon. If we run the clear command as it tells us, it works. Excuse me. It works just fine, but if we try to do something like clear test, again, it'll yell at us with a command not found because I typed it incorrectly. But this time we get a usage prompt. So that's cool, and I'm going to show you guys how to implement that. So let's exit out of the terminal and power off our Peacenet system. And I will zoom into my screen so that I can actually see things. So the first thing that we'll want to do is we will want to go into our terminal commands folder like we did with the previous command on last night's video. And we are going to create a new blueprint class just like we did the last time with the terminal. And I'm going to go with a terminal command. And I'm going to call it manual command. If I can type. Alright, now I will open it in the blueprint editor, and I will show you guys what is new with the terminal command system. So just like in the previous video, if I go over here to the overrides under functions and click on run command, we get our terminal run command node. This is what we want. This is the start of our function. But you'll notice there's a new parameter that we actually get from the terminal system, and that is in arguments. Now what this is if we hover over it, you'll see that it is a map of strings to Docopt value structures. Now, if you don't know what Docopt is, basically in Peace Engine, we had this argument parsing system where, as a developer, you only need to write the actual usage syntax of your command, and the game will automatically take that and parse user input based off that, and you'll get a little dictionary of values. This is that dictionary. In Peace Engine, this would be the arguments parameter of your command. So what do we want to do? Well, we are actually creating the manual command in the game. A theme of these videos is I'm going to try to actually create an actual game feature in each video that gets put in the actual game and kept there. But what we want to do is, because we are the manual command, we want to ask the user for a command. So what we can do is we can drag off the in arguments pin, and we can use a find node. Now, if you remember Peace Engine, when you wanted to look up a value of an argument, you simply typed it in as if it were in your syntax. So if our man syntax was man command, Well, we're looking at what the user wrote for their command value, so we will want to pass in command to our find prompt. And then what we want to do is we get a boolean return value and an output Docopt value structure. We don't care about the boolean, because what we're about to do in the next part of this tutorial is going to tell the game that this command argument is required and it won't run the command without it. So we'll drag off the blue Docopt value structure pin, and what we want to do is we want to get, we want value as string. Now there are various other things. We have our kind as string, value as array of strings. You don't want those. You want a value of string. If we place that node, you'll see that it requires an execution pin. So, yeah, I had it on my other monitor there. Dual monitors is annoying with magnifier, but I digress. And now we have the return value, which is a Unreal Engine string. So that's what we want. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these blueprint nodes, and I'm going to press C to create a comment, and I'm going to label this section of the code with get the command which the user wants to see a manual entry for. There we go. That doesn't actually do anything to the game, it's just a way to organize your code so that you know what everything does. But now what we want to do is we want to drag off our in-console pin, because now that we have the command name, we actually need to find the command. Now, Unreal Engine is kind of cool, because this in-console is a user widget, which is actually the terminal control that renders this command. So if we drag off it, every user widget has a function called get owning player pawn. And it's a pure function, so we don't need to execute it. It'll execute as soon as it needs to. But the return value is a pawn, and this is important because we need to get the Peacenet OS context, and that is a pawn. So once we have our player pawn, what we can do is we can then cast to Peacenet. Cast to Peacenet pawn. And because commands only run from the terminal, we will get a successful cast. So we will label this with get Peacenet OS context. And we're good to go. Next thing we need to do is we need to call a simple function, find manual. Oh, no, it's get manual. Get manual page. And this calls into the game's API and looks up a command and tries to retrieve a manual page for it. So if we drag this pin, you'll notice that if we go back over here, the command input pin is a different color. This is just meaning that it is a name string, which means it can't contain spaces or funky characters. Unreal Engine will automatically convert regular strings into name strings for you. And Docopt will, Docopt is pretty smart about it too. So, this little node here means string to name, that's cool. And what we want to do is we want to comment it and say find the manual for the command, and then what we want to do is we want to go all the way back over here, to our in console, and we want to do some write operations with the console. So we want to write line, and we will execute that. Alright, I'm gonna try to keep these on the same monitor, and then we'll do an append. So this basically means smash two strings together. And for the A value, we want our command name, which is all the way over here. And then for the B value, we will want manual entry. And that will write that text to the console. Now you can do some pretty cool stuff with Peacenet OS with terminal formatting codes if you really wanted to, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. That'll be another one. So, next thing we want to do is we want to go back to our in console. And actually, yep, we're doing the right thing. We want yet another write line, but this time it's going to be empty. And then we'll want a third one, and we'll go plug our target in the in console pin, like so. And then we want to get these execution chains plugged in. Alright, I like to have my code fairly straight. And then this manual pin, we haven't used it yet. Well, we are going to plug it in to this final write line. And what this will do is we will see in a second once we actually add our command asset data. So we will comment this area out, and I will say write the manual entry to the console. Alright. Now we'll drag it over so it's aligned with the other ones, and our blueprint is looking pretty neat. So if we compile, we get a check mark, meaning Unreal is saying, cool, you're good to go. Awesome. Now if you remember before, we still need to do one more thing. And we will do that right now. So, just like in the previous video, go to miscellaneous, and we want an data asset, and like yesterday it's going to ask us for what type of data asset we want. We want, of course, a command info, and then we're going to name it man after the command. Oh, whoa, whoops, it kind of broke there. Hang on, let me fix that. Rename man. Awesome. Then now you'll notice we have a lot more stuff we can choose in this class. We have our command name, we have a description, a usage string, or usage strings, we have option descriptions, and of course our terminal, or our command class. So we'll get our command class and our command name dealt with right now, and we want our manual command, and for the command name we want man. And you'll notice that I actually updated this so that it actually tells you what each thing does. So you notice that if I hover over it, oh, I guess you gotta hover over the text box itself. You'll see there's a tooltip, and it's telling you, if I zoom out here, it's telling you exactly what the command name means. So in this case, it's the name that you have to type in order to write the command. Alright, now for the description, we will type in display useful information about a command such as, or about the specified command such as usage in or syntax, what the command can do, etc. Alright, now the next thing we need to do is we need to add a usage string. We don't really care about option descriptions, those are just for any optional arguments and command flags, but we don't have any in this command, so all we need is a usage string. And since it's an array, we can have multiple, and the usage string will be simply command. Alright, now let's save, and we have added the command to the game. Now if I hit play, you'll see there's a load of console spam that disappears a few seconds only in developer builds, but if we go into the Unreal Engine dev console, you'll see that, well, first of all, we get the command usage for help and clear and various others, but if we scroll up, oh wait, we get bash. I'm looking for manual. Oh, there it is. Right at the bottom, built, you'll see it says built manual page, summary, and then our description, and then usage, our usage. And if we don't exit the game, but instead we go to Peacenet, and we go terminal, maximize it, and we go to help, you'll see that man is actually there. And if we do man help, we get our help manual entry. Summary shows a list of commands that you can run, and it has usage, our help options, help search options, filter, and then searches for command matching. This stuff isn't implemented, but you get the idea. It's telling you what the command does and what you can do. But if I go clear, and I do man, which is a pretty funny meme in the Peacenet community, you'll see that we actually do, and ignore that unimplemented scrolling stuff in the terminal. You can see that we actually see what we entered in that asset data. So the game's pretty intelligent. It builds together a massive usage string out of what we enter in that asset data, and that's really cool. Peace Engine didn't really do that very well, and it's doing it very well in here. Now what happens if we try to run a command, or if we try to look up a command that doesn't exist? Non-existent. Well, the game will not show you a manual entry, it will show you a blank one. Now I have to implement code that tells you if it actually found one. That shouldn't be too hard, it's just a boolean, but you'll notice that the game is handling it pretty well. It doesn't find the command, it just gives you a blank string. So that's cool. And I can prove that command doesn't exist, because if I run non-existent, command not found. And if you try to run man with a string, it will actually somehow convert it to a name. Okay then, it's probably doing something internally that you're not seeing, but oh well. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I still have to implement C++ support for console read line and stuff like that, but it shouldn't be too difficult. And I need to implement support for help-s 60 or 50. You'll see that it barks at you saying there's usage errors, even though for some reason it shows the options as being. It might be some syntax stuff in Docopt. I'm gonna have to look into it. But anyway, that's about it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.